record this class now onto my computer. So this is the Bhagawad Gita class for adults, at 7 p.m., the English class. Welcoming everyone and thanking you for joining. Today we are into the day 2. And before we begin, let's all pay our respectful and prayerful obeisances to the beautiful deities of Sri Radha Govinda Temple of ISKCON Mangaluru. And we are on this journey of understanding the Bhagavad Gita in 18 days. This course is being is brought to us through the benevolence of Namanishta Prabhu of ISKCON Radha Govinda Temple, Mangalore. And like I said yesterday, this is a temple which is there between Goa and Karnataka. And these are the beautiful deities of the temple. So let's pay our humble obeisances to Guru before we start. Om Ajnana Timaran Dasat Nananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarane Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. This is a very important mantra, the Panchatattva mantra. So those of you who are not familiar, please try and learn it. It is respectful obeisances to all these gurus, these 5 Panchatattvas who have taught us about the power of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And then let's all say this together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Because without Krishna's benevolence, without Krishna's blessings, it is not possible for me today to speak. I am no one to speak. It's not possible for any of you to be here to get this opportunity for 1 hour to sit and understand the Gita. It is only and only because of Krishna's grace. So, we have to be grateful to Krishna every moment for giving us this opportunity to understand spiritual knowledge. I pay my humble obeisances to the founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada of ISKCON, the founder of ISKCON. His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj, that is disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and his disciple, Temple President, His Grace Namanishta Das Prabhu. And I also want to pay my humble and respectful obeisances to my Guru, Aishwarya Mataji, as well as Rashmi Mataji, whose classes I have regularly attended. Many more, in fact, all the different Matajis and Prabhujis who have been teaching in through ISKCON Mangalore, I have attended their classes and I have been blessed to listen to them. Today, I hope I will do some justice by bringing about whatever I have learned and only what I have learned, because Gita is something we should only speak about to the level that we have learned from our Guru. We can't bring our own interpretations because that is mental speculations, and we have no one to speculate about it, because with our limited senses, we cannot understand the Gita and scriptures. The difference between material knowledge and spiritual knowledge is that for the spiritual knowledge, you need to go by the word of the Guru and the scriptures. You can't make your own mental concoctions. Whereas in the material knowledge, you can keep trying different experiments with your limited senses and come to conclusions and again disprove your own conclusions and keep proving it again. Spiritual knowledge is the ultimate truth. There is no yes or no about it. And it has to come through the disciplinic succession. So sorry for the long introduction, because chapter 2 is very long in itself, and I hope I will do justice to cover most of it. Of course, like I told you yesterday, we will not be able to cover all the verses, but I will try my best to bring about all the important points, because this 18-day course is simply an understanding of the conversation and the flow of thoughts between Arjuna and Krishna, and so it's not possible to go into depth. You please do continue to level 2 to go into more depth of the Gita after we finish 18 days. So this chapter 2 is called a summary of Gita, or the Gita Saramsha. And before we proceed, let us quickly revise what we had done yesterday in chapter 1. Can somebody tell me if I'm audible, or am I just rambling away? Am I audible?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank you for letting me know, because I'm just going on talking. So, so this chapter 1, we learned about, observing the armies on the battlefield, and we mainly learned about the reaction to the same situation, that is in the battlefield. How did the 3 main characters in the Mahabharata before the war begins, how did they actually react? And we discussed a little bit about the three modes of material nature, though Krishna keeps discussing this in chapter 2 also, and later he discusses in great detail towards the end, the last chapters. So, in which we understood that the Dhritarashtra is in the mode of ignorance or the tamogun, and that is why he is totally blinded by attachment, and he doesn't realize that what he has for his son is not affection but attachment, and that is the reason he's not able to tell his own son that this is wrong. My son, you need to understand that this is not our duty. So unless, whenever we have affection towards somebody, we will be able to tell him right from wrong. And when it is attachment, we won't. And the Dhritarashtra is blinded. And he is asking this silly question, Kima Kurvata, what happened? Obviously, in the battle, war will happen. But it shows his fear. It shows Dhritarashtra's, longing for war, his craving for war, that his sons should win and get the throne. And Duryodhana, he's so proud about his army. He displays, he talks about his, about his enemy, about his own army, and he says that everybody here is willing to give up their life. He says, "Tyakta jivita," and by uttering those auspicious words, he's kind of almost declaring that they're all going to die for me. And then there is a beautiful scene that we came across in chapter 1 about the blowing of conches. And then we discussed about how transcendental the sound is and how it brought fear in the hearts of the enemies because they knew that they were on the side of Adharma. And I explained to you how those who are in Adharma, usually in their heart of hearts, they always know it, but still they can't do anything about it because they are, they are just driven by their desires and their lust, and because of their all their tendencies and the predominant mode in them, all these are the reasons, and their karma, all these make them do things which they actually should not be doing, and so they know it. So their heart is shivering when they hear the transcendental sound, which is on the Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra. And then we look at how Arjuna, and the closeness that he has with Krishna, that he's able to tell Krishna that take me to the center of the battlefield, and he actually observes everybody, and how he's filled with compassion and he's filled with so many emotions. He doesn't want to fight, and he gives so many reasons to Krishna. And so we see in the verses 1.20 to 46 how Arjuna is giving so many reasons. There are 5 main reasons which we will discuss, and Krishna so patiently listens out to Arjuna because Krishna is a great teacher. Of course, Krishna is the greatest in everything. So we can learn how a teacher should be from Krishna. Krishna doesn't open his mouth, he doesn't utter a word till he listens out to everything that Arjuna has to say, until Arjuna will surrender completely and accept, being a disciple and say, you guide me. Till then, Krishna doesn't say anything. And then when Krishna starts speaking, within the chapter 2, he will answer all the questions which Arjuna had, and every single point is clearly explained to Arjuna, where there is no doubt anymore that Arjuna should do his duty of fighting and not, come under this influence of all this compassion and all these confusing thoughts. So he becomes very clear. Yet, actually, after chapter 2, Namnishta Prabhu always says that the Gita is over. Then why is it chapter 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way till 18? That's because Krishna, he will elaborate every point. And because he loves Arjuna so dearly, and we also, if we want to, imbibe the learning that Krishna is sharing, we also need to be in that same mood of Arjuna, so that we understand what is Krishna trying to elaborate with so much of love and patience. So Bhagavad Gita is actually a love letter by God himself. He actually is, through this conversation in the Mahabharata war, through the Bhagavad Gita, he's actually giving all of us a love letter, and he's sharing how much he actually loves us, and he's sharing exactly what is our position and what is it that we're supposed to do. He's actually giving us a life manual, and like I told you yesterday, it's not about any religion or anything. Somebody may say that, oh, I am actually a Christian. I don't believe all these material modes and what's all this. I don't believe. But whether you believe in it or not, like I told you, the scriptures are the law. They are the law that's set by God himself. So there is no yes or no about it. But people, the whole reason why we are in this material world is because we have turned our head away from the Lord. and we have, wanted to enjoy, separate from the Lord. That is the reason why Krishna had to create this material. It's like a naughty child who is saying that, oh, I want to be on my own, and then he goes off. And then the parents are like, come back home. The mother and the father is like, come. Krishna is our real mother and father, our spiritual mother and father. The origin of everything, the cause of everything is Krishna. He is telling us with so much of love, come back, come back. But we are like, oh, wait, I like this material world you have created for me to enjoy my desires, and we want to stay here. So I'm actually shooting and going to so many other chapters and covering points coming there. So let me come back. Sorry for the deviation. Let's come back to chapter 2. So these are the chapter 1 main points. And as you can see, in chapter 1, we had gone through these points. Arjuna had said that compassion in verse 1.28. He says he feels very compassionate for his grandsire, his teacher, his relatives, his friends, everybody in the Kaurava side, opposite side of the army. And he feels that, how do I enjoy? Even if I win, I'll not enjoy because all of them are dead. So many of them are no more there after the battle. How do I enjoy? Even if I lose, I'm not going to enjoy. So anyway, I'm not going to enjoy in this because of this battle. I don't want to fight. Then he says, sin. I'm going to surely beget sin. Killing so many of my own, my own grandfather, my own cousins, and my own guru. How can I do it? It's going to be sin for sure. And then he says that family traditions, he says, Arjuna gives a reason in verse 1.45 that the family traditions will be broken. All the men will die, and then, the women will be left unattended, unprotected. There will be lot of, illegitimate children being born. The traditions which have been followed will all be broken. It will be a chaos in society. And he says, no way, I can't do this. I can't fight this war. It's not just right. And then he says the fifth and the last reason, which we are going to come in 2.6, we will understand. Arjuna says that indecision. He says, oh, I'm undecided. I cannot decide. And he actually realizes, that this is not the right feeling that I'm feeling. He understands that, I'm feeling so low. I'm feeling so dejected, so depressed. I can't even move. And there's a whole list of things he describes. His hand is shaking. His eyes are watering. His hands are shivering. He's sweating. And so many things are happening to him physically. Now, that's what happens when suddenly, you lose your composure. And that happens to all of us. And that is why the Gita is relevant to everyone, not just to Arjuna. So it is actually relevant to all of us. This is the most beautiful and important shloka, which we can actually memorize. This is the first shloka that I had memorized when I was learning the Gita. It says, Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava prachami tvam dharma sammudha cheta yat shreyasa nishitam bruhi tanme shishyaste ham shadhimam tvam prapannam. So Arjuna says, now I'm confused about my duty. This is the fifth reason he gives. I have lost all composure because of weakness. In this condition, I'm asking you, Krishna, to tell me clearly what is best for me. Now, I'm a disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. So we can see how Arjuna is reached a level of absolute desperate. He's so desperate, he actually pleads to Krishna. You can see in this picture his expression, the tears in his eyes. This is the emotion that each one of us need to have when we study the Gita. If we don't have what Arjuna is feeling, this emotion, we won't understand. If we don't accept Krishna as a Lord who is giving us these instructions, we can't understand the Gita. So we have Krishna, who is all-loving Lord of the universe. You can see the love in his eyes. He is actually, just giving, he's going to share his beautiful love letter, which we are all going to read now for the next 17 days. So during our tough times, sometimes we just give up, like how Arjuna was planning to. Or we can reach out to a higher power, right? And what did Arjuna do? Whom did he reach out to? Arjuna actually, in his time of confusion, he reached out to none other than supreme powerful Lord Krishna himself. Now, what happens? People may say, oh, I don't believe God. Why? Because I don't see. So this I have told you already in yesterday's class also. Using our material senses, if you think that I'm going to only believe if I see Krishna with my material eyes, which are so limited, then you'll never believe anything. Then there's no point. You can even right now, you can just leave the class. Unless you understand that spiritual knowledge needs spiritual or transcendental eyes to understand. And you don't get it just like that. It comes to a lot of practice and a lot of love towards the Lord. Then you can start seeing it. So if you say that I believe what I see, then that actually works only if your eyes, your vision is impeccably perfect. No human being can say that my eyes are impeccably perfect because it's just material. It can only see so much. Only from one range of frequency of light to this much of frequency, it can't see beyond this much, it can't see, it gets, all illusion, the optical illusion. There's so many examples where you can see, there's optical illusion. You really don't get to see what is really there. There is much more than meets the eye, as you must have heard that phrase. So if you're going to be saying that I will only believe what my material senses can see, then you can't. Then you can't go ahead in your spiritual journey. So who is Krishna? Fine, I can't see the Lord. Who is he? So look at this picture. I'm going to quickly go through a few examples, analogies. Now, when you look at a scenery from far away, all you can see is like the distant clouds and the mountains. So you can't really see clearly with your material eyes what is beyond that. And then when you slowly go closer, you can see, oh, there are mountains. And on the mountains, if you go even closer, you'll see there are trees on the mountains. And then when you zoom in on the tree, you can actually see that, oh, there is a parrot sitting there and eating a fruit. So it is only when you're able to go closer. Similarly, people who start understanding spirituality, who start thinking that, oh, I can't just do whatever I want to, or things just don't happen the way I want it to, because there is some other power. That's something. And then they will start believing that, okay, I don't believe in God, but I do believe in some energy. I do believe that there is a power, there is some kind of an energy or a light. And these people, they do yoga and other things, and they can see a light. Now, when they meditate further, they actually, spirituality is all about going inward. If you just keep looking for the, outside, you won't see anything. You need to go inward. That's why they say meditate. And when a person starts meditating and going inwards, there are many great yogis who actually are able to see the Paramatma within them. Now, when they slowly, after years of meditation, only then they will suddenly realize Krishna. They will realize that God is actually a person. Only when you really start having bhakti and devotion towards God, the all-loving person, the God is a person, that is the highest form of spirituality. Till then, you're still on the border. You're just thinking God is a power. I think God is just a power. Then you think, okay, God is there. Then people actually realize that I can feel God in my heart. He is within all of us. That is a Paramatma. And the third is that when you're actually able to understand that God is a person. And what person is he? As you will see in the Gita, everywhere it is mentioned Bhagavan. Bhagavan Uvacha. Vyasadeva, when he wrote the Bhagavad Gita, he doesn't write Krishna Uvacha. He says Bhagavan Uvacha. Why does he say Bhagavan Uvacha? In Vishnu Purana 6.5.47, there is a verse which says, Aishwarasya samagrasya viryasya yasha sahashriyaha jnana vairagya yoshchaiva sannam bhaga itingana. Shanna. So there are 6 bhagas, that is, there are 6 opulences. Krishna has 6 opulences. That is Aishwarya, which is richness. There is Viryasya, which is strength and power. Yashas, which is fame. Shriya, which is beauty. Jnana, which is knowledge. Vairagya, which is renunciation. And all these 6 are not in small amounts. If you look at people around, you might find somebody, oh, like so beautiful. Aishwarya Rai, she's so beautiful. Somebody is like, oh, very muscular, powerful, macro, full of muscles. Somebody else you might find who's so intelligent, but hardly good looking. Or somebody else who's very renowned, very calm, peaceful, detached from everything. But again, not having the other qualities. So in the world, you might find people having different degrees, but Krishna has it everything samagrasya. In complete total, no one can beat Krishna in the God himself in these qualities. So once more, we are revising the 3 stages of God realization. The first is the Brahman. where people just are able to see God as a light or an energy or a power. Then Paramatma within everybody's heart. That is the next higher stage. The highest stage is ability to understand that Krishna is the Lord himself, and he actually appears. He doesn't need to be born. He appears when Vasudeva, if anyone of you has read Srila Prabhupada's Krishna book, you will see that Krishna doesn't come as a normal birth. He just appears, he just appears through the mind of Vasudeva. He enters Devaki, and she conceives him, and she doesn't deliver him normally. He just appears straight away into the four-handed form. Why? Because he's not normal. He's God. And there are many people, the Mayavadis, who will try to say, actually, Krishna is just some yogi who got, who tried to explain these things to Arjuna so he'll fight. So these are people who will misguide you. Be very careful when you listen to the Gita spoken by Mayavadis, because then you will never get the real taste of the Bhagavad Gita. You will never understand that Krishna is God. So please listen to the Gita only from the devotees' lips. Please, this is my request, because otherwise you will never get the true understanding of the Bhagavad Gita. So these three forms I just spoke to you about, when the simple understanding of the sunshine, here we are relating to another analogy. For example, the sun, the rays of the sun, people start seeing when they start turning towards spirituality. First of all, they are totally engaged in material world, and which is full of darkness. And then they slowly start seeing spirituality, and that is when they see the rays of the sun. And when they're able to go closer, they see the sun's surface. That is when they're trying to understand that, okay, there's a Paramatma. And then when they go really deep within the comparison, like the core of the sun, that's when they can see Bhagavan. Okay, this is just an analogy for us to understand. So once more, the six bhagas, which we all can always remember. Krishna is all richness, famous. He's the most famous. He's the strongest. He has the most knowledge. He has the knowledge of past, present, future, everything, and he is the renounced. So we quickly go through some examples which show us how he's the strongest. As we can see, the Govardhan Leela. So many of you must already be knowing how Krishna is this young boy. He's able to lift a mountain. So now we may, oh God, this is, quite unreal. But it happened. Years ago, when the Lord himself came on the earth, he actually lifted the mountain. So if you don't have faith, you won't be able to believe it. And then he killed these, these Rakshasas. And you can see there are many of these Rakshasas stories. If you read Krishna book, you can enjoy the Leelas of Krishna. So this is showing his strength. Then we have this different stories which show us how Krishna is all beautiful. He is the most beautiful in the Bhakti Rasayan, the Bhakti Rasamrita, I forget the full form of BRS. It's written that Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham, which says Krishna's beauty surpasses millions of cupids. So millions of cupids are, like the embodiment of beauty, cannot achieve the beauty of Krishna. Krishna is all beautiful. And then we have Krishna is also all he's a renunciate. In spite of being the Lord of the universe, and he loves everyone he loves everyone, still the whole cosmic order is going on his will. He gives everyone independence to the limited power of choosing what they desire and doing their karmas and bearing their results. He doesn't interfere in all that. In spite of having so many beautiful wives, this is a very high, very people don't understand. They think, oh, Krishna, he has so many wives. They don't understand that Krishna actually multiplies, and he's there for each one of them. No, human beings are, there's no use envying, because we can't multiply ourselves into many, women to have many husbands, or many husbands to have many wives. We are one. We are Jivatmas. Krishna is a Lord, and he can do all this, and he is a renunciate. In spite of all these leelas, and in spite of this, the extreme love he has for everyone, he is a renunciate. That is, it's a big quality that he has. He's always a renunciate. And he is all knowledge. Krishna has, the entire Vedas come from the Lord. Krishna is the origin of everything. There is nothing that he doesn't know. We know what is happening in our body as a Jivatma. He is Paramatma in every living thing. He knows everything and everyone's past, present, future. So there's nothing hidden from Krishna. He is all knowledge. The whole universe belongs to him. In fact, as you read the scriptures, you will see that there's not just one universe which itself we feel is so huge. Like we are the earth, then there's a Milky Way, then there's a whole universe like that. And then this whole universe is under one Brahma who is creating. Our Brahma has four heads. Like that, there are multiple universes with many, many Brahmas. And these things we will only understand when we read scriptures and we hear from the devotees that it is so vast. And everything belongs to Krishna. He is the Lord of everything. He's the origin of everything. I mean, no one can compare with that, right? He's the richest. And he's all famous. In all these universes, everybody is aware that there is the one cause of all causes. There is this one Lord, the Father and the Creator and the origin of this entire universes, and that is Krishna. So he is all famous. Here on the earth itself, we have Krishna. Who doesn't know Krishna? Rama. Who doesn't know Rama? Right? So he is the most famous in all the universes. So Krishna is the Lord. Why am I going on spending so much time? Is that if you don't really get it that Krishna is the Lord, the Gita will have no meaning. Only when you can understand that Krishna is the Lord, Supreme Lord, only then will the Bhagavad Gita have any meaning. So please, even though you may not like it in the beginning, probably some of you may not want to listen to Krishna being the one Supreme Lord and origin of everything. You don't want to believe that, or you're having a problem with that. I still request you to stay on for 18 days and just listen to what, the Bhagavad Gita is saying. So again and again, I'm requesting all of you to stick on. So the non-devotee, somebody who is not a devotee, when he approaches the teachings of the Gita, he's just reading it and just trying to get some mental, speculation, some ideas. It is like licking a bottle of honey. Imagine if you lick the bottle of honey from outside, what will you get? One cannot have a taste of honey unless you open the bottle, unless you become the devotee of the Lord and you understand that this book is being spoken, it's a love letter by Krishna. Only then you can taste the honey. Only then you can enjoy the rasa. Similarly, the mysticism of Bhagavad Gita can only be understood by devotees and no one else can taste it, as it is stated in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So now let's move on. So we just once more talking about the opulences of Krishna. We admire some people because you see that, okay, that person, I like him. He's so so handsome or so beautiful. I like him. He's so knowledgeable. So, every good that you see in ourselves and others, we admire them. Now all that actually comes from Krishna. And that is why there are many people, while Krishna himself, he causes envy in us, we envy other people. Similarly, it is very futile to try to match with Krishna, right? Therefore, there are many people who reject Krishna. That idea actually disturbs them. That's the whole idea. So let's now look at the beautiful way in which Krishna will explain and give us the answers to every question. Beginning with the first one where Arjuna says, I feel so much of compassion for my guru and my grandsire. Krishna gives the answer from verse 2.11 to 2.30. Let's look at some of the verses here. 2.13. Krishna explains, Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara तथा देहांतर प्राप्तिर धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति. So Krishna is saying, as the embodied soul continually passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by this change. And this is a most important thing that the Bhagavad Gita gives us, is the first confidential knowledge that we are not this body. So we always have a tendency to say that, okay, I am like Praveena, I am the daughter of Gauri and Suresh, I am an Indian, I am the Hindu, I have this complexion, I am a teacher. So we keep relating everything to I am with this body. But we actually forget that we are actually soul. This body is only temporary. We are entering these bodies for a temporary stage. And this particular parents or these friends or these people with me are going to only be as long as this body is there. Everybody will be on their own respective journeys after they die. And so the soul is the one which travels from one body to another based on the desires that he will carry, the desires are like, the fragrance. Just as the air will carry fragrance as it moves from one place to another, similarly our soul, when it comes out of the body, when our body has become, either due to old age or any other reason, the soul will move and carry the, as the air carries fragrance, the soul will carry the desires. It will also carry all the karmas, whatever are the results which you need to undergo. And Krishna, by Krishna's will, it will take up another body. So this is the basic understanding that Krishna gives. And so he is trying to tell Arjuna, there is no need for you to feel compassionate. Why? Because, these are just bodies, are temporary. Actually, you are the soul. And so a self-realized soul will never be bewildered by such change, old age, death. And then there is, we have this beautiful understanding. The scriptures give us actual number. So there are 84 lakhs of species, and you get this human body after 84 lakh species. And you have to make this life fruitful. How? By doing your duty, by doing what Krishna wants us to do, by always thinking of Krishna and understanding that your position is, is that you're a part of the Lord and not the Lord himself. And so you need to just follow his, follow what Krishna wants us to do. And he actually loves us so much. And we don't understand and see that. So till the point where we understand that, we have to go through different bodies. And when we get the human body, we have an opportunity to think, not just simply eat, sleep, mate, defend like the animals. We are not cats and dogs and cows and buffaloes just to eat, sleep, mate, and defend ourselves. And we get the human body when we are meant to start thinking about why are we here? What is the purpose? Why is there old age, disease, death? What is the goal of this life? And Bhagavad Gita is the manual which gives us the answer to all these questions. And that is why when you get the human body, abahunam janmanamante. After so many births, you're still having desires, and you still don't come to the spiritual knowledge. But we are all, you're all not just lucky to come here. You have done some karma. Have also have some, past karma and some blessings and grace of the Lord, that I'm able to come to you and speak this spiritual knowledge. And you are able to come in this class for 1 hour and actually sit and listen to this spiritual knowledge given to us in the Bhagavad Gita. And if you really think about the soul, you can really, it's common sense. You can feel when somebody dies, you can feel that this, it's not all over. Okay, he's gone, finished. You know that the soul is going to move on. It's a common sense. You have an intuitive understanding. There are also a lot of near-death experiences, right? So there are which prove, there are so many scientists who have done past life memories. People have shared, which are shocking. In fact, even Gandhiji himself, I think, it followed up with one girl, who was able to remember everything from her past life with so much of clarity. So there is ample proof that we are not the body, we are the soul, and the soul just transmigrates, and this life after death is there. People are just closing their eyes because they don't want to understand that whatever they'll do this birth, they will have to bear, the consequences in future births. They're afraid to think about it. They want to think that, aaj aish karo khatam, just enjoy and the body is over and finished. They cannot think of the law of they cannot come to understand. They don't want to, that the soul is eternal. They don't want to understand. So continuing with the same answer, we have Krishna actually explains the soul very in lot of detail in chapter 2. So the whole, it's called a Sankhya Yoga, where he explains the different, understanding of what the soul is. We will not do all the verses, some of them. So let's look at one more. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakah, na chainam kledayantyapo, na shoshayati marutaha. The soul can never be cut into pieces by any weapon, nor can the soul be burned by fire. You cannot moisten the soul by water. You cannot wither it by wind. That's why, sometimes we cannot believe that these souls can take up different kinds of bodies. And even there are souls inside the sun also. We are not able to understand that. The scriptures tell us. So with this material body, we can't go in the sun. It will get burned. So the soul actually can exist in anywhere. It can go all over the universe, like how Narada goes, traveling everywhere. So this is the one of the verses, and you can see in all these verses up to 29, Krishna is explaining so many things about the soul. The soul, there is no change. It is indestructible, imperishable, immeasurable. It never comes into being. It's not going to come into being. It's unborn. It's ever existing. It's present everywhere. It's unchangeable. I'm not reading everything, but basically, if you're really interested, read these verses from chapter 2, and you will get an understanding, and you can really meditate upon actually what are the qualities of the soul, which Krishna explains to us very clearly. So, what is the takeaway? Any stress, frustration, depression, anxiety is actually because of our false identification or false ego that we have, because we think that we are this body. The moment we understand that we are not this body, that we are a soul, and we are actually all of us longing for Krishna. When we understand that, we will be in bliss. Whenever we feel morose, you can be sure that it's because of an imbalance of nutrition between the driver, the soul, and the body. So we have this body which we need to take care, because we have to achieve the goal of getting free from contamination, so that the soul can go back to the spiritual world. So there is an imbalance when we don't spend time to take care of our soul also. We have to purify our soul. Now all of us are doing that together in this class when we discuss the soul. So here we can see that Krishna is telling Arjuna about the next reason. Okay, he's going to explain the next point. He says that, look, Arjuna, if you're going to die, say you're going to die in this battle, you're doing your duty. And a Kshatriya who dies doing his duty will be able to enjoy the heavens. And if you live, suppose you're at the end of the battle, you're alive and you have won the battle, you're going to enjoy the kingdom. You're going to rule the whole earth, because, in those days, the kingdom was not just the Indian subcontinent. In those days, the whole earth was under one rule. So that is the reason which Krishna is giving next. The second point he says is that there is no enjoyment. Second answer. He says that, oh son of Kunti, either you will be killed and you will get higher planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. So your point about no enjoyment is actually doesn't stay true. Therefore, get up and fight with determination, Krishna says. And then he continues saying in the second answer that to the second question about happiness, he says, you think you're going to be, that you're going to be happy if you don't fight? Your enemies, Krishna will be very blatant. He will not mince words. He will be very blatant. He will tell you that. He tells Arjuna that your enemies, they are going to be very unkind. They're going to say very unkind words to you. They will say, Arey wo bhag gaya. He just ran away, from the battle. He was just scared and he felt all, emotional. And they're going to scorn your ability. They're going to say, actually, Arjuna was not sure of his own ability. He saw us and he ran away. And Krishna asked him, don't you think it will be painful for you to hear that? You who are a warrior of the highest level of the earth, there's nobody who can beat you. And they will speak such words to you. Don't you think that's going to be painful for you? You think you'll be happy without fighting? So he gives an proper answer to his question related to fighting. And about sin, Krishna explains that there is no sin when you offer what you're doing to the Lord. There is no sin when you're doing your duty. A soldier, when he's killing the enemies to protect his country, he gets only punya. There is no sin. Whereas if somebody is just rampantly murdering other people and killing and causing fear in the hearts of everyone, and just wildly, just for their own sense gratification or their own personal pleasures or selfish reasons, when they do it, that is sin. Now, when this is actually it's a Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra, you're doing your duty and you're a Kshatriya, it's your duty to fight and get the kingdom back. In this endeavor, there is no loss. Moreover, if you just offer what you're doing to me, Krishna, he says there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path also can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. So Krishna says, Neha bhikrama nashosti pratyavayo na vidyate. So you can see these examples of Hanuman. Now people may think that Hanuman, when he destroyed the whole of Lanka, oh my God, he destroyed the whole of Lanka. That's terrible. He must have got so much sin. But no, Krishna says that when you're doing something for the Lord, there is no sin in it. He is doing it with complete, there is Ram in every cell of Hanuman. And what he's doing, it is only for the Lord, Ram, and his wife Sita. He's only doing it for them. So then there is absolutely no sin. Vibhishan, people may criticize. See, in the next picture, we can see Vibhishan, who left his brother. He actually gives away many secrets which will help Rama to win the battle. He says, I want to be on your side. Why? Because he knows that, there is actually no relationships when it comes to the Lord. You can actually go against every rule. Krishna says, Sarva dharma parityajya mameka sharanam braja. There is no dharma except service of the Lord. In front of the service of the Lord and doing of what is your duty, there is no dharma. Nothing is actually a sin. As long as what you're doing is for Krishna and with your complete knowledge that it's your duty, then there is absolutely no sin. So Krishna will just flat remove this idea that this is sin. It clearly explains that this is not sin. So when we want to do something for a sense gratification, like you feel like eating something, or you just only purely want to enjoy, that is sin. But the moment you are actually doing it as a service, Krishna, as a service to the Lord, and with bhakti will light a lamp within your heart and give you the knowledge. Bhakti always leads to jnana. Whenever you have bhakti, Krishna will give you the knowledge of what is right or wrong. That's why Krishna keeps saying, do bhakti, do devotional service. Because whenever you do bhakti, the knowledge of jnana will come. That's what will happen. So ultimately, you will have the jnana. That's what will happen. And then for family tradition, Krishna explains that you think that when all the men will die, people are going to all get into doing wrong things. On the contrary, what you must remember is that people are going to follow you. Many years later, they're going to say, "Oh, Arjuna ran from the battlefield. Now I also don't feel like doing my duty, and I'm also going to stop doing." So actually, the great people lead by example, and you therefore should do what is your duty. And all the Vedas ultimately tell us that the ultimate purpose is to understand that we have to serve the Lord. And for doing that, you don't need to read the whole Vedas. You can just understand that the purpose is that we are Jivatmas. Our purpose is to serve the Lord, and then we have this bhakti, prema towards the Lord, and then that's all. Even from a little bit of any water will serve that purpose. You don't need to do the whole Vedas. The Vedas mainly deal with the subject of three modes of material nature. They will tell us about the modes, and they will tell us, and Krishna tells us how to be transcendent. Yesterday, I was telling all of you that Krishna actually explains to Arjuna that you are now in Sattvagun. That's why you're feeling all this compassion and all that. So the moment you realize that your duty is to stop thinking of the results of what you're doing, your duty is to stop thinking of what will give my material senses joy. Your duty is to just surrender to me, the Lord of the universe. I am the Lord. Krishna actually says, I am the Lord so many times in the Gita. People sometimes don't like to hear, and so they say, Bas, I don't want to listen. But actually, it's the truth. If the Prime Minister comes and says, I'm the Prime Minister, you don't have to say he's so proud. Krishna is a Lord. He's saying, I'm the Lord. And he's saying, listen, just surrender to me. And then, all your sins will go. And whatever you do, everything will be taken care of. If you don't, that is the problem. If you don't, then there will be a problem. So because people will follow somebody who is in a model position. Arjuna is like a model, a role model for everyone. And so he needs to stick to his duty. And the last reason which Arjuna says that I feel very undecided, I feel very confused. Krishna says that व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिर एकेह कुरु नंदना बहुशाखा ह्यनन्तश्च बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनाम. There's a lot of detail in the last verses which we will not have time to cover, where Krishna is explaining that one who is on the path of devotion in resolute way, their aim is one. Instead, oh, should I please my parents, or should I please my children, or should I please my teacher, or should I just look at what I want personally? Or you get confused with so many directions. Instead, if you have one irresolute purpose, that Krishna, the Lord of the universe, I am a devotee, Krishna will guide me, I will do what is needed by the Lord, what he wants me to do, I will surrender myself and do what is needed. Then there is no two way about it. It's like irresolute. Instead of having many branches, a strong faith which comes by Krishna consciousness, you will be elevated to the highest perfection of life. You will automatically not do anything which is sinful, and that is called Vyavasayatmika intelligence, which is single-minded, resolute decision. There is no more indecision or confusion once you come to that state of mind. So now let's look at this 2.55 verse where Bhagavan says, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, he says that, let's not read the verse, it will take more time. He says, O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of sense desire, which arise from mental concoction, this Krishna will explain very beautifully in the further chapters. So I request you to stay so you can understand that beautiful explanation. And when the mind finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. So we have an example of someone. Anyone is here who can say who this is?
Prahlad Maharaj.
Yes, this is none other than the great Prahlad Maharaj. And he's a little boy. And how his father Hiranyakashipu, there are so many stories behind all this. We can't go into all that. He's actually wanting to kill him simply because he's a devotee. So we have, he's all the time faced with death on all sides, and still he has irresolute, single-minded devotion to the Lord. The Lord will protect me. Whatever is given to me is by the Lord, and I accept everything. So he's such a great devotee and he's such a great example. So that is Prahlad. And in fact, also Srila Prabhupada. You can see Srila Prabhupada, he actually gave his entire life to spread the message of the Gita and Bhagavatam. So he has, we have no end to how much gratitude we can feel for this great human being who at the age of 70, he went to America, to the Western world. And he says that I didn't go, Krishna sent me because Krishna wanted me to give the message of Krishna to the Western world. So humble, so humble. So he has all the qualities. He's actually not from this world. He's a great devotee, you know. He has come to this world just to help us, you know, to deliver us. In 2.62 onwards, there's a very beautiful, great psychologists also, they actually study this understanding of how human beings fall down. So when you're contemplating on objects, these two verses go like this. Dhyayato vishayan punsa sange seshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kama kamat krodho bhijayate krodhat bhavati sammoha sammohat smriti vibhramaha smriti bhranshat buddhi nasho buddhinashat pranashyati. So the very, how can you avoid fall down? Once you're on the spiritual path, how will you avoid fall down? Krishna explains beautifully. He says, whenever you contemplate on some material object where your senses are desiring something and you get attached to that, from the attachment, you will develop a lust. Lust is simply any desire, even small. In the material world, we use lust only for a desire for a man has for a woman or woman for a man. That's what lust usually is. But in the scriptures, when you talk about lust, for no better word, it's just any desire. So when you have a desire for something in the material world, for some object, because of your senses want to enjoy that, then never can the material desires be satisfied. Even if they get satisfied, you want something, you get it, it's always temporary because then you want the next better thing. Always there is, the element of dissatisfaction or anger. If you don't get it, you will be angry. If you get it, you want the next better thing, or it has not satisfied you the way you thought. You wanted this beautiful girl, you married her, then you found out, what's so great? I mean, I just, made a mistake. Or you think, oh, this guy is so great, you marry him. Or, even not only persons, even things. After that, you say, oh, you got this phone. Wow, I got the best phone. After some time, you find, arey, iske paas to isse bhi acha hai. You look at others and they have a better thing than I, and then you're not satisfied. So material desires can never be satisfied. It will always lead to dissatisfaction and anger. From anger, there will be delusion. There'll be confusion. You'll be deluded. There'll be bewilderment of memory. And from that, your intelligence, when you're all bewildered and angry and confused, then your intelligence will be lost. You will, maybe suppose in this case, as you can see in this picture, you have maybe a wife or a girlfriend, and then you find her cheating on you, and then you get so angry, and then you shout, and then you behave the way you really shouldn't be behaving, and you do all the wrong things, and you become mad. You lose your intelligence, and you will fall down into the material pool. So when you're on the spiritual journey, be very, very careful. Krishna gives analogy of the tortoise and all that. When you see that your senses are running after material objects, tell your senses, your mind is actually superior to your senses. Your senses are superior to the objects. There is a beautiful picture which we will do in the later chapters. Your senses are superior to the objects. Your mind is superior to your senses. Get your mind to control your senses, not to go behind the sense objects, and remember to enjoy the higher taste, which is Krishna Prema. When you understand that these are all, temporary, then you start enjoying the higher taste of Krishna Prema, where you know that that is where the true, that is where I actually belong. And that's what actually all souls are actually longing for Krishna. They don't know that. They're just running after helter-skelter material desires, which are temporary. So we have this beautiful picture, objects, you keep thinking about them, you get attached, lust, anger, delusion, bewilderment, loss of intelligence, and fall. So the takeaway is that an empty mind might be a devil's workshop. Some people think, that, oh, I should not think of anything. Let me meditate. This meditation people, gurus, even I was one of them. I used to think that let me sit and just breathe. Just breathe and just meditate on nothing. That is actually not true. Krishna wants us to think of him. Manmana bhava madbhakto. Think of me all the time. And but certainly it's not a workshop like constructive thoughts. If you're going to just an empty mind, it will be a devil's workshop, and that devil's workshop will not have any constructive thoughts. So one must not let it even contemplate on the objects of sense, of sense enjoyment. And this can be done only when you start tasting higher pleasure. So for example, suppose you stay in some hotel which is very low quality, that is not very neat. And then once you are able to enjoy a hotel which is, you are able to stay in a place which is very well maintained and so much of luxury, then you won't feel like going back there. Or suppose you taste something which is, very tasty, then you don't want to taste something which is of lower, right? So similarly, once you start enjoying spiritual bliss, which is eternal pleasure, that you are actually, you realize who you really are, then is when you stop having any attachment. You don't feel like having the lower pleasures. So let me be very frank with all of you. I used to be a non-vegetarian. I used to eat everything. And but as I'm doing these courses and as I'm chanting, see, I always have my japamala with me. It's always with me. And now, whenever I get time, I sit and I chant, because I will not say that I'm a perfect chanter or I've reached anywhere. I'm just a beginner of being a devotee. But when you start reading and now, I always want to read and listen to more of the Gita. I want to listen to more Bhagavatam. You start tasting that beautiful nectar, that honey inside that bottle. Then you realize that this material world has nothing to give you. It's all temporary. Anything is temporary. And I was, once I got it, it was easy for me to give up non-vegetarian. It was easy for me to give up, very easy, because you taste the higher pleasure. But nobody needs to force yourself to do that. It has to come automatically. So when we engage ourselves, okay, this can be done by tasting the higher pleasure, which we have engaged ourselves in now for 1 hour. So this past hour, we have all sat together. It's almost an hour, 5 minutes to go. We have sat together and we have enjoyed discussing Krishna. I hope that you have enjoyed also with me. I have enjoyed sharing with you. And so we have come to the end of this class where Krishna has given all these reasons. He says that for compassion, he gives a reason that we are not the body. Stop thinking, all these thoughts of, oh, he's my grandfather, oh, he's my teacher, because, you have to do your duty. That's above everything. And moreover, we are not the body, we are the soul. All of them will just go into their journeys. No enjoyment. The reason is he says that either heaven you'll get or kingdom, both are enjoyment. So what are you talking about enjoyment? If you don't fight, you think you get enjoyment. He explains very well. Then fear of sinful activities, he says, in devotional activity, there is no sin. We saw Hanuman burn the kingdom, how Vibhishan, actually went against his brother and he actually cheated on his brother. But that's not sin, because they're doing it for the Lord. In devotional activity, there is no sin. Destruction of family tradition, be a role model so that you can prevent Varna Sankara. Don't be somebody who thinks that, oh, let me save all these men. No, you have to be the role model by doing your duty. Then he says, serve the Lord with firm determination. There's no need to be confused. You have to have firm, one-minded determination. So in this chapter, we have gone through how Krishna has, helped with the crisis management from indecision. Arjuna comes to surrender. Then he comes to know about his real identity, that we are not this material body. We are actually soul, which is covered by the gross body and subtle body. Then he talks about that we all have our duty, not just towards our body, and subtle body, but towards the soul. And finally, he talks about happiness, the 8 steps of failure, dhyato, vishan, panchasangi, seshupajayate, higher taste and qualities.
I'm not
This
able to figure
last
out
part,
when
qualities of
business ka,
self-realized soul, we don't have time to discuss
last month
further.
everything was so good. Suddenly,
Sorry,
story saying,
I didn't hear you, Prabhuji.
that was the thing. Slow down.
I didn't hear you. I don't know whether you're talking to us. I couldn't hear you. So we have come to the end of the class. If you have any doubts, please raise your doubts. I'm glad I finished on time. Just 5 minutes more to clear the doubts. Anyone would like to share something about the class? Would you like to say something about any realizations or any suggestions or any questions? I'm open to questions.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
So Mataji, in our recitation, the 2.69 verse, Ya Nisha Sarva Bhutanam Tasyam
Yes.
Jagrati Samyaya. So
We
in that
didn't come to
Krishna
that,
is,
Prabhuji. We will be doing that in level 2. But anyway, you can just tell me what you wanted to say.
so here is Krishna saying that the night for all
Yes.
beings is the time for awakening for the self-control. So here Krishna
Yes.
is telling about to waking up in Brahma Murta.
Not exactly. It's not exactly about Brahma Murta or that we will be awake in the whole night. It's actually, this whole material world, no, Prabhuji, what I understand is that the whole material world is in darkness. We are all, everything is only because of the light of the sun or the light, we put on the light. See, you turn on the light and there's no sun, it's all darkness. So those who are in this body, they are transcendentally high elevated. They are in a spiritual world. So Prabhuji, in one of the future chapters, Krishna will explain that in the spiritual world, there is no need for the sun or the bulb or the light or the candle. There's no need. The spiritual world is self-illuminated. In fact, each of our soul, which is inside each of our hearts, is the chest region is actually self-illuminated. There's no need for the light. But because of different reasons, we had different desires, we have fallen into this darkness. And so those who are spiritually enlightened, for them, what is dark is actually light, and what is light is dark. That's what he means, is what I understand. That those who are spiritually elevated, they are already, in the light. And for us in the material world, what we see as light, we like how, for example, we may think that all these spiritual knowledge, we may not understand. It's darkness for us. So maybe there are so many different levels of understanding that, Prabhuji. I sincerely don't think that it's about just day and night, or that the spiritual people are awake at night. No. I don't think. Spiritual people actually sleep early and they get up early. Brahma Mud. Once you get into spiritual understanding, you automatically start rising early because you want to finish your chanting and you want to keep the Krishna in your tongue so that the whole day the material world doesn't contaminate you. And so I think that is a connotation for that. Prabhuji, it's a very beautiful question. And, I have also contemplated on that verse a lot. So, it's a point of great discussion. In level 2, Prabhuji, we'll be actually discussing that verse. In level 1, we have skipped that whole last set of verses are skipped in this level 2. We end with the Dhyato Vishan Princess set of verses, Prabhuji. So please join level 2 for further understanding. And if we have time, we can again, go through some of Prabhupada's lectures and notes and understand that's beautiful verse, and it needs a lot of discussion and understanding. That's a beautiful question, Prabhuji. Thank you for that. I don't know if I've answered you. Yeah, because we are all trying to understand, and every time there's a deeper understanding. And I have just been thinking about how the material world, is actually in complete darkness. You just turn off the light, so you walk out and there's no star or sun, it's dark. And then Krishna explains in the Gita how the spiritual world is bright, it is self-illuminated. It's so nice to imagine that one day, if we really become truly Krishna conscious, we don't need to come back to this Dukhalayam, which is the material world. Krishna himself says it's Dukhalayam. And he's calling us back, he's calling us back. We all need to strive to go back there, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Anybody else?
Good evening.
Good evening. Okay.
Good evening. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Ma'am, do we get the e-certificate after the 18 days class?
The link. You mean to say
No,
the
no,
video?
no. No, not the video, ma'am. Actually, I was attending the Bangalore ISKCON course. After the 18 days attending the course, they used to give a e-certificate. Is this being done here also?
Link to the level 2 are you talking about, Mataji?
No, 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 no. A e-certificate was given. Like they have attended the basic
Oh, yes,
Bhagavad
yes.
Gita class.
Yes, yes, Mataji, certificate you're talking about.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Ah, so when you finish level 1, Mataji, actually it's good. There'll be link of the quiz put in the group. If
But
you
that
attend,
wasn't come. The quiz yesterday, I didn't get it.
oh, okay, okay. I'll just remind the admin, who are in the admin to share the quiz. Please do all the quiz. The link will be shared, Mataji. Just try and do.
Yes,
The quizzes
ma'am.
are very simple, and there are as many times you can attempt and get 8 out of 10 or something. If you get qualified. And when you finish all the 18 quizzes, at the end, automatically you will get a certificate. And then you have to show the certificate. You have to send the soft copy. It's all soft only. You can send it and you can enter the level 2, which happens just I think so twice only in the weekends. The level 2 classes happen, but very deep. There are nice
Okay.
devotees who take the level 2 classes after these 18 days. Yes,
Your
Mataji, I'll just
classes are
remind about
very
the
interesting,
quiz.
ma'am. Thank you so much. Your explanations are so clear. We are delighted to attend every day.
Thank you so much, Mataji. I'm just doing the best I can to share whatever I know, because whatever I'm coming to know, I'm still in the very basic stage, Mataji. It's so vast and so beautiful. And I love talking and sharing about it. And I'm very grateful to have some devotees who are here to listen to me today. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Good evening, Mataji.
Good evening,
Uh,
Mataji.
Ma'am, is there any proper timing for reading the Bhagavad Gita?
No, not at all. Of course, the Brahma Muhurt is the best simply because our minds are blank and it's this early morning, it's fresh, and the Brahma Muhurt is considered to be the time of Sattva Gun. Evening and night are all actually, Tamo Gun, and the whole daytime it's mostly Rajo Gun. So that's why they say Brahma Muhurt is good. But for chanting Krishna's names and for reading the Bhagavad Gita, there is no rule. That's the beauty of it. Only thing is, do keep it in some neat place, keep it nicely. You don't even need to bathe actually. People say, oh, you have to take a bath. If for chanting the Lord's names and for saying the Hare Krishna Mahamantra or for reading Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam for that matter, there is really no rule. You can be without bathing. You can just anytime. Just keep the place where you're keeping the book clean and just show that respect, general respect. Otherwise, there is no time, Mataji. Any time is good to, to engage in with the Lord. Any time. The best time is Brahma Muhurt, but any time you can read it.
Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. What is the time of the Brahmurt time? Means the timing. Like
Yes,
it start
Brahma
from
Muhurt
4.
starts about, I'll have to check exactly. It's some certain number of hours, a little bit before sunrise or something. It is, I'll just check. I just forgot now, Prabhuji. It comes, I think so, 1 hour before sunrise or something. Anybody knows that? Who knows?
I think 4 to 6 is considered to be Brahma Muhurt.
Generally 4 to 6, Mataji, but exact hour before sunrise, there is some theory also for that. But 4 to 6 generally, yes.
Okay.
That is generally like a little an hour before sunrise or something like that. Tomorrow, I'll just find out and tell you the exact Brahma Muhurt, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji.
Anyone else has a question? Anything in the chat? 3:30. Oh yes, Lakita Mataji has mentioned it's 2 hours before the sunrise. So each day, if you just check, the sunrise time changes a little bit here and there. So like 6, sometimes it's 5:55 or 6 or something like that. So just 2 hours before sunrise, she has written. Vaishnavi Mataji has also written around 3:30 a.m. So, and Amit Chauhan Prabhuji, thank you so
Mataji,
much. Yes.
Mataji, Brahma Muhurta starts at 3:30 a.m. and ends at 5:30 a.m.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ankur Prabhu, for saying that you've liked the questions raised by Arjuna in chapter 1 and 2. Thank you so much. Bari Mataji. Thank you, everyone. What is
Hare
Murali?
Krishna.
Rose is feeling very sad. Yeah.
I have one question.
Yes, yes. Please raise your question, Mataji. Is it Mataji or Prabhuji or a child? I can't understand.
I am Mataji.
Yeah. Sorry, Mataji. Yes, issue, Mataji. You have a
हाँ जी.
child's voice, so I was a bit confused.
All right. Actually, I have that question that in the Bhagavad Gita, there is Krishna. Like Krishna solved specifically questions related to the Arjuna. But in real life, we don't have like real gurus. If we don't have real gurus, and if we consider Krishna as a spiritual guru, then how can we like solve our day-to-day problems by understanding Gita? Like these questions are specific to the Krishna, and I real life problems are different than the problems discussed in the like it's
Yes,
similar
issue,
in the
Mataji. I
we have.
understand your question. I think I understand your question. Like Krishna is the spiritual guru of everyone, right? And Krishna in the Srimad Bhagavatam says that when you really seek a guru, I will come in front of you in the form of a guru. So so that you can directly interact. So the different gurujis who come, for example, I have been following the ISKCON, and they come in the Gauriya Vaishnava line. So this Gauriya, this Gaur, it starts, if Srila Prabhupada has got the whole lineage all the way from Krishna to Brahma, and that the whole line disciplinic succession. So it's very important that you get connected to a real guru. And when it is time for you, you will get, you need to get a spiritual guru. That's why, as you go into ISKCON or any, not only ISKCON is the Gauriya, related to the Brahma Gauriya line. There's also Shri, there's a Kumara, and there is a Rudra. So all these different lines are there. There are 4 lines of of true disciplic succession. If you get associated with the guru, and then you get associated with the devotees, that is when you start getting real spiritual knowledge. And when the time comes, the guru will come. You will get the guru in your life. So I am, still I have not become initiated, but I am also looking forward to take up our initiation under a guru. And that's when you start accepting, because the spiritual knowledge doesn't come just by reading scriptures or just by studying on your own. I had the Bhagavad Gita with me long before, so many years, but it's there. I have different versions and try to read also, but I could never understand till I came in the COVID times, and I attended classes of Namnishta Prabhu, Aishwarya Mataji, till I heard them face to face, and I could like just ask the questions. It never entered, I never got the real meaning of it. Even now I'm learning, every day. So it is important, Mataji, that you need to have association of a real human guru. And that actually you can understand that Krishna comes. Krishna says, there is a beautiful verse in Srimad Bhagavatam which says, I am non-different from the Guru. But the Guru never says, I am Krishna. The Guru is always very humble. You can understand that a Guru is a real Guru because of his humility. He will only lead you to Krishna. The Guru will only lead you to Krishna. Because you can't find a way on your own. You need the Guru to guide you. And that will happen when as you rise in your spiritual understanding and your quest for true knowledge will come, the Guru will appear. So, Mataji, just you have to wait. Now you attend all these classes, go level 2, level 3, and gradually, the path will open up, and then you will be able to find a Guru who will be able to tell you, that how to get Krishna. Guru is simply one who leads you to Krishna, Mataji. Did I answer you?
Like till the time, I have one more doubt.
Yes, please.
Till the time we have, yes, till the time we have real gurus in our life, like then how to understand all these things? How to understand, how to connect with it actually? Because you
Yes.
are saying real
It's
guru in
very
your life.
difficult to connect with the knowledge without the guru. I agree completely with you, Mataji. So till the time that the guru will appear and you understand that this is a guru for me, and you really get that emotion, and the Guru is someone who surrenders and he's ready to pick up all your sins and he's ready to give you Krishna. Till that time, you have to just keep your quest, your longing, So they say in the material world, you should not have desires. You don't let your senses go after material things. But you need to keep that desire to get Krishna alive in you. How will you do that? By continuously, having devotee association, going to the temples. ISKCON is a beautiful association which really keeps you, in connection with devotees, and listen to the lectures by the great, highly elevated. I used to be, constantly listening. Even if I'm doing any work, like I'm cooking, my ears will have the ears. Either, I'll be listening to a lecture, or I'll keep a speaker and I'll be listening, constantly listening and listening to the different great Prabhujis and Matajis who have given beautiful lectures. If you keep yourself with and read Srila Prabhupada's book, just read and also continue attending these classes. And as you do that, your taste for spirituality will increase. Your quest, keep your quest alive. Keep the fire within you to know the truth and to actually realize the purpose of your life. Keep it alive and strong. That will slowly lead you, Mataji. It will surely, you will get the purpose of your life. You will realize it. How much strongly you feel the desire that you want to understand Krishna and you want to achieve the purpose of your life, how strong the desire is, so fast things will start come to you, Mataji, surely.
All right, one more question I have.
Yes, Mataji.
Actually, in the ISKCON, like again and again, it is mentioned that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, and I'm not denying that fact as well. But the time I started my spiritual journey, or like I started I started feeling connecting with the God. I am praising Shivji, and like right now at this point of time, I don't want to change my mindset, but like somehow I
Yes,
feel
Akshata.
that yes,
I
somehow
understand that emotion very well, Mataji. So, you know what? Krishna will explain. If you listen to the Gita for the rest of the chapters slowly, Krishna will clearly explain that people will have different faiths and they will follow different gurus, different gods, according to their different modes and tendencies. And why is, and Shiva, you're praying to Shiva, that's great, because Shiva is the Adi Yogi and he is actually the greatest Vaishnava in the universe. There's no one who is a greater Vaishnava than Shiva. Shiva is considered to be the highest Vaishnava. And if you pray to Shiva, Mataji, just continue praying to Shiva, because Shiva will actually lead you to Krishna ultimately. Shiva will lead you because he is the greatest devotee. There is always he's always in meditation of the Lord. And there are so many, in the Bhagavatam, when you slowly read the Gita, Mataji, and then you start reading the Bhagavatam, you get so much clarity about the position of all the different gods whom everybody worships. And why are the different people worshipping the different gods? Because Krishna makes it strong for them. Krishna wants them to strongly worship whoever they are worshipping. Krishna says, I make the faith strong for them. Why? Because he knows that in that path, in the end, they will come, and that particular different, they call in ISKCON, they call them different demigods, everyone, Brahma, Shiva, everyone. But we also, in our heart of hearts, don't you really understand that there is one Lord? Actually, Shiva is Krishna only. There's no difference. There's no difference. Krishna is like the cause of all causes. All the scriptures will reveal to you as you read more and more, and you read, Prabhupada and they have read all the scriptures, and that's where their lines come from. The cause of all causes, the origin is Krishna, and Shiva is the expansion of Krishna. There's no difference. Krishna expands. Now, when a devotee prays to either Shiva or to Devi, their faith is so strong. Their love for that Devi or for Shiva or for is so strong, and Krishna makes it strong. Krishna is the one who makes it strong because he wants just that devotion to be developed, so that either in this birth or a few births ultimately, because usually what happens is all the other, the different deities that we worship, usually there is some kind of a material association. But when they will lead you gradually to Krishna, where you become transcendental completely. Because in Krishna's world, a spiritual world, even Shiva, Brahma, these are all different, highly elevated devotees and Vaishnavas. They are all in the material world. And in the Bhagavad Gita, which is the ultimate source where God Himself speaks, Krishna will tell us that the wherever you pray, you go to that world. Suppose you're going to pray to Shiva, you go to Rudralok, which is a beautiful place where you will learn. Lord Shiva will guide you how to become into a Vaishnava, a pure yogi, where you're always in contemplation of the Lord. So there is there is nothing wrong. We are all based on our own modes and desires. We get attached. We start loving and being devoted to different deities. And then, when it is time for us, Krishna reveals through the Gita that when you become totally desireless and you've had enough of the material world, that's when you are ready to move to the spiritual world where Krishna resides. And the spiritual world is, I was telling you about the material world is so big with so many universes. Actually, the spiritual world is much, 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 much bigger than this material world also. And there are so many different kinds of lokas in the spiritual world itself. The highest being the Goloka. So these are all things which, when you read scriptures and those who have read in great detail, they share with us and we start trusting them and we give our full faith. Slowly the knowledge will come, it will come to us. But it is very natural, Mataji, what you're feeling, that I am a devotee of Shiva. Please continue. Just along with that, you keep your study of the Gita and just continue with the understanding what Krishna is telling us in the Gita, in the words of Srila Prabhupada, because he is a true devotee of the Lord. Otherwise, how can he, have so many? Just by sitting and chanting in the gardens of New York City, he turns all these hippies who are forever having illicit sex and drugs and everything. They actually, just by sitting and chanting Krishna's name with Prabhupada, they give up everything. No non-veg, no illicit sex, no drugs, nothing. They're just sitting and chanting with Prabhupada. Isn't it a miracle? All over the world, we can see so many people, they give up everything and they're just chanting. It's a miracle. It's, that is the power of the holy name. It doesn't come to everyone. It comes only. Bahunam janmanam ante. After so many births only, we get that karma enough, we accumulate to get Krishna. Mataji, I hope I answered your question.
But your answer led me to another question.
Okay.
Like you just said that like after so many janmas you have that blessing that like for the whole time you can preach for Krishna, or you can just recite the holy names. So means in the Bhagavad Gita, matlab, if we are accepting, like in Bhagavad Gita as well, Krishna said that whatever duty you are doing, do it with the wholeheartedly, then it is my bhakti. Then how can we say that only chanting the names is considered as a bhakti, like complete bhakti?
Yes, Mataji.
Whatever.
This is a question which, I've been trying to explain to my son also. He also doesn't understand that how simply chanting, because he sees me sitting with my bag. He sees me all the time sitting and chanting and he can't understand. He's saying, what is this? What is this thing about the name? But as you will read Mataji the scriptures in so many verses, it is clearly given. So, in Mataji, you just be for chapter 3 and 4, okay? In that chapter, Krishna explains about sacrifice, yagya. And that yagya is such a powerful thing. Yagya is something which brings all auspiciousness, all the different, the demigods, the god of water, the god of fire, the god of everything, actually they all will be satisfied only through yagya. And in the different yugas, the scriptures prescribe different yagyas. For example, in the Satya Yuga, people are supposed to sit and meditate on the Lord for years. And that time they had long lives also. So they would sit and meditate, and then they would get Krishna. And so that was a path, and that was that was yagya. So what they were doing would bring about good things from nature, because the gods would be pleased. Then in the after the next yug, that is Dwapar Yug, it was deity worship. And what is it? Satya Yug. Dwapar Yuga, and then in the next Yuga, there are we'll be learning that in the future ones. Then in the subsequent Yuga, it is after meditation, there is deity worship, and then there is the yagya itself, sacrifice where you do homas and all that. You have to chant all those the verses precisely. But the beauty of the Kali Yuga, which is now going on, this Kali Yuga, people usually curse the Kali Yuga. They say that, oh, this Kali Yuga is horrible. People, there's, most of the people are non-devotees and they're all like demons and they're all cheating everyone. It's a very horrible Yuga and there is hardly any devotion. But the truth is that this is a very lucky Yuga to be born, because if you get spiritual knowledge in this Yuga, there's no need to sit and meditate for years. There's no need to sit and do perfect the deity worship in a perfect way. There's no need to sit and do all the yagyas. Krishna and all the scriptures say that just chanting, because Krishna has invested all his power in the holy name. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come, and then you understand as you read that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is actually Krishna's form. He comes just to show how to become a devotee, and he explains and giving example, not just like that, giving example from so many scriptures. In one of these days, we will be discussing where the power of the holy name. You will also read about the story of one of these saints of the Sikh saints. I think it is Guru Nanak ji. I'm not very sure. When he had gone to one of the Middle Eastern countries, they offered him some drinks, alcoholic drinks. He said, come, have it. He said, I don't need to be intoxicated by drinks. I am already intoxicated because I chant Rama, the Lord Ram's name. So the names are so, have got all the power of the Lord. And in the Kali Yuga, all scriptures say just by chanting the name, that is itself yagya. That is yagya. That is devotional service. That is why it is very powerful. And in the Kali Yuga, you don't need to do anything else. Nothing else. Devotional service is simply chanting. That is why Srila Prabhupada has really asked all his devotees to chant 16 rounds, which takes, if you do it slowly, almost 2 hours. So it's like 2 hours of japa meditation. And then slowly you get the taste. It's very difficult in the beginning. So Krishna says also, in the Bhagavad Gita, that doing anything in the Sattva Gun is very difficult in the beginning, but that it becomes very nice later. Spoilful in the beginning and then it becomes beautiful. So you have to undergo that, process, Mataji. I hope I answered your question.
Hanji,
Lead
Mataji.
it to another question again.
No, I got my answer.
Okay. Thank you so much. I've
The
taken
question
a
is,
lot of your time and I'm grateful to all of you for staying. Some of you have left. Of course, it's late today. Where will you find the recorded video of this session? Lakita Mataji, I'm recording it. I will put it into, I will check with Aishwarya Mataji how I can share it with you. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Let me just pray now. And after that, we can end the class and I can answer still further. Vancha kalpataru bhyasha kripa sindhu bhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So I offer my obeisances to all the Vaishnava devotees. And anyone else has a question, or shall I end the class for today? Tomorrow, please join. Chapter 3 is very beautiful with new revelations and new learnings.
Jai Sri Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna, Prabhuji. Okay, so I'm ending.
So actually, we have many believers on different gods. So somebody telling Shiva, somebody telling Krishna, somebody telling other gods. So how can we take decision? This is the right way to reach the God, and which is the best for this universe and this humanity. So
See,
there is a
Prabhuji.
confusion.
Yeah.
There is a confusion to take the decisions to right path. So how could we find this right path?
See, Baswaraj Prabhu, there are different
Yes.
gods and we are born with different families based on our own past karma and our tendencies. And according to our childhood, we follow the different religions or the different dharmas. But as you will constantly read the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityaja mame, mame ka sharanam raja, come to me. So what happens is, and Krishna also says that it's okay to have different, fates, because he will make your fate stronger. So it seems controversial in the beginning, but Prabhuji, basically there is no form of disrespecting any god. All gods. Prabhupada himself says that as long as you accept God, whatever name or whatever form you're able to see God as, if you're able to develop pure love and devotion, then you have reached there. Right. Now, in the Bhagavad Gita, what happens is Krishna has taken. Actually, we learn about Dashavatar. Tomorrow or day after, whenever we have time, if you can join early, I'll play the Dashavatar Stotra also. Krishna takes different avatars. He has taken even the Buddha avatara, in which he comes and he actually tells everybody, there is no God. Why? Because that time there was too much of animal sacrifice going on. He wanted people to stop that. So he said, no Vedas, no God. Stop sacrifice. Stop not. It's only non-violence. And he makes people stop it. So, the Lord takes different avatars for different purposes. And, some people feel somehow closer to Lord Ram. Ram is non-different from Krishna. And Krishna himself says that not only this Dashavatar, there are actually so many. Krishna says that nobody can understand Krishna. Krishna comes in so many different forms and ways. We don't know. No one can understand. But as we read the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains that I am the original form or the cause of all causes. And then as you keep on chanting, the realizations come. Like I told you, from bhakti will come jnana. As you develop bhakti, the jnana will come. So all we need to do is develop bhakti, Prabhuji. So it doesn't matter, to whom you're feeling your love for. You love Krishna more, you love Shiva more. It's fine. Just continue. Keep your faith strong. And just keep reading the Gita, because the Gita is the word of the Bhagavan himself, right? Today we have seen how Gita is actually the word of Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the person who possesses all the Bhagas. And the scriptures tell us how, like Lord Shiva has so much percentage of the Bhagas. Krishna has, everything in all complete strength. And how, these things slowly get... See, the scriptures are so vast. Only those who have read so many scriptures, even if Mahabharata also, there are so many stories we hear from, we get surprised, we don't know. And then we come to know little by little, and then it slowly gets revealed. Krishna says that the ultimate knowledge of all Vedas is that I am, the Lord. But that slowly, Prabhuji, there's no hurry, and there is no need for you to get worried that, I feel, close to this God or that God, because everything is ultimately, coming from Krishna only, Prabhuji. Krishna says that I am the source of all. So it's all coming from Krishna. And that we understand when we, further read the different scriptural references which Srila Prabhupada gives in his books. One good way is to take up Srila Prabhupada's books and read, because he gives a lot of original. He doesn't say anything. He himself says that, I keep reading my own books. Why do you read your own books? Prabhupada says, I read my own books because those are words not coming from me. Krishna himself is revealing. It reveals through him. And he actually has scriptural references in all his books. He will say, this is from the Vishnu Purana, this is from there, this is from... And he gives exact verses from so many references. So when you read Srila Prabhupada's books, you come to know, more depth, because it's so vast. In our limited, this human body in the Kali Yuga, which is so short life, we cannot possibly read all the Vedas and all the scriptures. We are grateful that someone is born who has got so much of knowledge and who is able to share it with us. Why not read his books? Read Srila Prabhupada's books, and slowly we can gain through bhakti, we can get jnana, Prabhuji. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. And I have one more question. I brought a book from ISKCON temple, where is in Hyderabad. So, Jiva from Jiva. It is wrote by Srila Prabhupada. So this book is very fantastic. I read this book. So I thought I am connecting with Krishna Bhagavan. So actually this I have doubt. So now it is cleared. So thank you, Jai Krishna, Jai Sri Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Okay, so I'm ending the class today. Any other doubts, we can take it up tomorrow also. Please join tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Danvat.
Hare
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.